Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And I came in today to do a reality show roundup. Now, this reality show roundup is going to be a little different. I wanted to talk about the marriages that we see week to week on these reality shows. I've been watching quite a few of them, and the dynamics that go on or that these couples allow to be shown on television kind of interests me, and I wanted to talk about it. We see Black couples going through ups and downs, and it was something that I thought we should talk about. Now, the first ones that I wanted to talk about are Karen and Ray Huger on Real Housewives of Potomac. Now, just this past week, on the episode that they aired, Karen and her husband moved to their new home and they threw a 20th anniversary celebration. Now, when Karen and her husband came on the show, Karen let you know that her husband was the Black Bill Gates. And we found out that her husband was an IBM executive and that he had also started his own company. Now, here recently, there's been a lot going on with Karen, and it left the girls kind of questioning, Karen on what exactly was happening with the sale of her house. In the past episodes, we saw that Karen was trying to sell the home that she had raised her children in. And she was being very picky about, how it was sold and the amount that they got. Eventually, the house sold and they moved to Great Falls. There was a big hubbub about them moving out of Potomac, into Great Falls. It seemed that Karen was embarrassed. But this episode, we saw that they rented this big old 9-bedroom home, and a lot of people were confused and were starting to kind of say that they believed that Karen and her husband were having financial problems. Now, I just read here recently that that's exactly what it is. Karen and her husband are in trouble with the IRS, it seems. Now, from what I'm reading, Karen and her husband owed like $1.8 million to the IRS for a lien that was placed on their home. And then with Ray's business, they owed the IRS, almost $3.5 million. So together they're owing the IRS upwards of almost $5 million. Now, when Karen came on, talking about her husband was the Black Bill Gates, I believe she put a mark on his back because with her acting uppity and pretentious and all of that, now that this has happened, it's a great tumble for her. Now, one thing I will say about Karen and her husband, they really seem to love each other. So I think that there's a genuine affection there. But all the putting on and calling herself the Grand Dame of Potomac it's going to make the ladies clown her. I think if Karen would have just been honest with them and said that right now Ray and I are having some financial problems and it made better sense to us to sell the home until we could settle this, because what I believe is that Karen and her husband are using the proceeds from the sale of their home to help pay down some of this debt that they owe IRS. But because Karen didn't, she wasn't honest about it, once the ladies get wind of exactly what happened and what is going on, we're going to see them clown her on the reunion show. And it's just sad. And I think that, like I said, the bond that Karen and her husband have with each other, they will be able to withstand it together. But, if Karen would have just been honest, she wouldn't have gone through this. And I think she made this much worse than what it could have been, because people have problems every day, y'all. I just don't know. Now, one thing I will say about the women of Potomac, I don't understand why they felt that it was Karen's responsibility to tell them all of her business. Karen and her husband are not a young couple. This is a couple that has been married for quite a while. It to me, you don't sit up and discuss the inner workings of your marriage, what's going on with your finances with friends. And I don't think Karen actually really trusted all of those women with that information, and I think that's why she didn't tell them. But I think Karen should have handled it a different way. Let me know what you guys think, because it's going to be embarrassing for her. Just let me know what you think down in the comments, and on to the next couple. This next couple up, y'all, is Robin and Juan. I don't know, y'all, with Juan. Now, we all know that Robin and Juan are actually divorced. They just chose to stay together for financial reasons. And as Robin said, to have the children's father and mother in the same home. Now, I believe that Robin is hoping that they can rekindle something and restart their relationship. But just from watching Juan on the show, I don't think Juan has any interest in this relationship anymore. I believe that he loves her, but he's not in love with her anymore. These two have been together since they were teenagers. And I believe what it is Juan has fallen out of love for her. And Robin doesn't seem to be able to recognize that. I think that he's very disrespectful to her. He doesn't put a lot into trying. He seems so disinterested in just her as a woman. And I think Robin is giving too much. Now, on this past episode, Robin explained to him that she had went to see a therapist, and the therapist had given her a homework assignment, and that assignment was to go out on a couple of dates to see if this would be something that she could do, since she basically wasn't in a relationship with her ex-husband. Now, I think when Robin told him that, the look on his face, he looked a little nervous about it. It's almost like he doesn't want her, but he doesn't want anyone else to have her. And to me, Robin had him on the ropes at that moment, and she didn't recognize that. I believe that if Robin had gone through with dating just a couple times, maybe Juan would see what he had to lose. Remember when Robin was telling him how when they went to Bermuda, all those men were paying attention to her? And the reason why is Robin is a very beautiful woman. And Robin exudes a certain softness about her and quietness. And she seems to me to be a woman that a man, it would be easy for him to fall in love with her. I think that that's all she's looking for. Someone to love her and to pay attention to her and to treat her like a lady. And I think that maybe Juan is not the person anymore. And it's disturbing to watch Robin fight for this relationship and for her husband to have given up. I want to know what y'all think about it. It almost makes Robin look like a doormat that Juan is walking all over. And a lot of people said it makes her look stupid. A lot of the ladies didn't even understand why Robin and Juan decided to stay in the same house and sleep in the same bed. I know they're having sex, and I know that that's probably what keeps Robin's emotions caught up in that relationship. To me, they need to part so Robin can get her head clear and to think logically. It's hard to divorce your feelings from a relationship when you're sleeping in the same bed with the man. You know, I just think that she's never going to cut the cord as long as at night his body is on the other side of that bed. she loves him. And it's just as simple as that. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is a sad situation. And I think that, like I said, any man would be honored to have Robin and honored to treat her like a lady. And when she wakes up and realizes that, then I think that Robin is going to be okay. And with that, y'all, on to the next couple. Now, this next couple up, y'all, is Kenya and her new hubby. Now, we were all recently surprised by this marriage of Kenya Moore. She didn't show any indication that there was another man in her life. We were still reeling from the whole relationship with Matt and all of the things that went on with her and him, because remember on the show, she was saying that she loved him and that she was in love with him, but he was full of problems. So when we heard the news that she got married, everyone was like, when did all this happen? And apparently, Real Housewives of Atlanta was surprised as well. It seems that Kenya didn't let them know that this relationship was going on in the background and that she was planning to marry this mystery man. Now, just recently, I'm understanding that Real Housewives is giving Kenya an ultimatum. What they're saying is that if she doesn't film with her husband, then she could possibly lose her job. Now, the problem is Kenya's new husband wants no part of Real Housewives of Atlanta. He believes that the Housewives franchise exploits black men and he doesn't want to be a part of it. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I can understand Kenya's position on this tip, because when Kenya originally made her contract with Real Housewives of Atlanta, it was just that. It was her contract with them. And I believe that the reason why Kenya did not let Real Housewives know that she was in this relationship with this new guy is because she was in the middle of contract negotiations. And had she said that, then probably they would have, told her then, and she would have had to do it. But because he wasn't included in this new, contract that she has for season 10, then she felt that she was safe. Now, on the other tip, a lot of people are going to say, well, Kenya should film with her husband because, Kenya on these past few seasons has set her sights on everybody else's marriage. When Kenya came on the scene, remember she was kind of flirting with Apollo. Well, not kind of flirting with Apollo. She was flirting with Apollo. Remember when she had asked Phaedra, had Phaedra ever thought about giving Apollo a gift of a threesome or so? And Phaedra was basically like, hail to the no. Kenya even talked about the marriage of Portia and her husband. Remember, she said that Portia was Cordell's beard because everyone knew that Cordell was gay. There were all those rumors about Portia's husband. And even when Kim Fields came on the show, you remember that Kim Fields' husband was a dancer, and Kenya even, talked about rumors of her husband, Kim Fields' husband, being possibly gay. So Kenya has spoken up on everyone else's marriage. So people are saying, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. But actually, you can see both sides. You can understand why Kenya doesn't want her relationship displayed on television, because she knows that these housewife shows are hell on a marriage, on a relationship, and she doesn't want that. Kenya said that she waited 46 years to be married, and she wants to cherish, her new marriage and her new life. I know that Kenya was really wanting to have a baby. And I think that now that she's married, she is probably going to want to do IVF and all of that. But the only thing about it is, if Kenya is married and not allowing or not wanting Real Housewives of Atlanta to film that part of her life, my only question then is, when she appears on season 10, what will her storyline be? Will it be that she acknowledges that she's married, but you never see her husband? She acknowledges that she's getting IVF, but there's this mystery husband in the background that we don't see going to her doctor's appointments with her and discussing, the treatment and all of that. How is that going to play, on the show? Will she just continue on as she did, basically throwing shade and fucking with the other women and, you know, clowning their marriages, their relationships, but never let the spotlight be on hers? I think that's going to pose a dilemma for Real Housewives of Atlanta. How to navigate around this marriage that she has, that she doesn't want anyone to film, and again, I can understand what she's saying, because if you think about all of these Real Housewives shows, whenever a couple comes on and they're either married or in a long-term relationship, a lot of them lose that relationship because the spotlight of this show is on it. And I don't think Kenya wants that after waiting all of these years to finally get married. Now, honestly, y'all, I'm not a Kenya fan. I don't like or dislike her. She's just not one of my favorites. I pretty much wish her luck with this marriage that she has. But one thing that I feel, I think that Kenya should allow, you know, if she wants to stay on the show, at least that them to film him one time, so it will settle the rumors that she's actually married, and then maybe, not film again with them. But like I said, y'all, that's going to be weird, because I don't know how they're going to do that. I'd really like to know what you guys think about that, because when I thought about it, when I heard the story, I was like, well, Kenya has a point. But then I thought back to all the shit she has said about other people's relationships and how hard of a time she gave them. A lot of Kenya fans might not agree with that, because, they like Kenya. But I don't think that this is going to bode well for her. I think Kenya is going to have to make a decision. And I don't think it's quite how they put it, that she needs to choose her job over her man. Because if you've waited that long, and this is something that you have been longing for all of your life, it wouldn't be a decision for me. I would cut the show loose and focus on being happy, having a baby, and loving this man for the rest of my life. I would say to hell with Real Housewives of Atlanta, because, that is something that could eventually come to an end, because, every season they have to negotiate their contract. But a marriage is a lifetime, or can be for a lifetime. Children are for a lifetime. And we all know that this is what Kenya has been waiting for. So she's going to have to make a decision. And like I said, for me, it would be easy. I would cut Bravo and Real Housewives of Atlanta, cut them loose and go on with their life. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section, and on to the next story. This last couple of y'all is Kirk and Rasheeda from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. This is another couple that I don't know about. You know, All along, we've been believing that this whole storyline is fake. But just here recently, we got a snippet of the reunion show. And in that snippet, Rasheeda really breaks down. And she basically is telling Kirk how he has broken her and how he didn't think about his children when he went out and did what he did by getting this girl Jasmine pregnant. And after watching that snippet where I didn't believe that this storyline was real, I think I believe it now. But when I think about Kirk and Rasheeda, I think it's time for Rasheeda to call it. Like I said with Robin of Real Housewives of Potomac, Rasheeda is a very beautiful woman. She seems like she has a really good spirit, and she's been with this man, again, like Robin, since she was a teenager. But we have watched on this show Kirk disrespect her, when he was in the hot tub with those women, and just the way he treats her and seemingly doesn't love her like she wants to be loved. This whole thing with this baby would be the end for me. Because it's one thing to have your man out cheating. A lot of us have dealt with the cheating man. In Rasheeda's case, her cheating has been plastered all over television for several seasons now. And I don't think as a woman that I could take that. It's one thing to go through all of this privately, but when everyone knows what's going on in your marriage and now there's a baby involved, I think that would be it for me. Now, she talked about how they have all these business interests together, homes, all of this, and that they've been together 18 years. But you know what? There comes a time when you need to know your worth and your value, and you need to love yourself more than you love that man, more than you love that marriage. And I think this is the time for Rasheeda. I don't know if I could take continuing on in a marriage when this child, this baby, and it's nothing against the baby because it's not the baby's fault that the baby's mother messed around with a married man and that the baby's father was married and went and stepped out on his wife. But I don't know. You know, you had on the show Rasheeda's children, namely the teenage son, basically telling his mother, mom, just forget about it and go on and stay in the marriage and all of that. But when you do that, that man loses respect for you. You know, Kurt has done this to Rasheeda before, and she took him back and tried to make it work. You can't keep doing that because you not only lose his respect, but it seems like you would start to feel that you have lost respect for yourself. You do not want to be a doormat where he continues to walk all over you. Like I said, if this is true, if this whole storyline that has played out all these seasons is true, I'm wondering at what point does Rasheeda see that this man doesn't want her anymore? Yeah, he might love her, but he's not in love with her. He is not cherishing the marriage. He is not cherishing this union that they have had since they were teenagers. He doesn't give a damn about what this looks and feels like to their children. All of this is of his making. Rasheeda didn't do anything wrong. Her only crime is loving this cheating ass man. That's what her crime is, you know? And for that, she has been called stupid. She has been made a fool of on national television. And now Rasheeda needs to make a choice You know, when I watched that scene where they were out on that deck and Kirk was disrespecting her mother like that, that would have been a game changer for me. Him cussing at my mother, yelling and screaming at her, and all of that, and just a total disrespect. I was sitting there like, does Rasheeda have any brothers? Because if a man that I have been dealing with has spoken to my mother like that, and my brothers would have gotten wind of it, man, it would not have been good. My brother would have beat the shit out of him and threw him the hell up off that deck. You do not disrespect someone's mother like that and then tell the mother that this whole thing is not her business. The reason why this is the mother's business is because Rasheeda is her child, and she is seeing her child hurt, tormented by what's going on. She can't make her child leave this man. She's there supporting her daughter, but is tearing her apart, watching her daughter be in pain. And then this man acting all arrogant, yelling and screaming at her. I'm with Rasheeda. He bought her with Rasheeda's mother. Kurt created all of this. And Rasheeda's mother's anger was valid to me. I don't see why Rasheeda's mother was wrong. And I was surprised at some of the comments that people were making about Rasheeda's mother staying out of it. Rasheeda, to me, she's being a little stupid. Because, like I said, she can end all of this, let this man go on to whatever he wants to do, take her children, go somewhere and heal, you know, after all of this is, proven that this baby is his, go somewhere and heal. And then after she heals, just like I said with Robin of Real Housewives of Potomac, stick her toe back out there into that dating field. See what's out there. Because there is a man out there that would love Rasheeda to pieces and give her peace in her heart, in her head, and in her world. Because to be tormented and distrustful of your husband, that's not a good way to live. That's a lot of stress on a person. And y'all, I want to know what y'all think about this, because not only is this sad, but I'm tired of watching it season after season. Cheating, him in the hot tub with women, and now a baby, y'all. A baby. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. And with that, y'all, this is the end of the video. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for hanging with me. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye now.